showing up right now. That is so loud in my ear hole. Oh, misty eye of the mountain below. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Lolita Mindful Podcast. I'm so glad that I had an amazingly overwhelming response to my first episode. We learned some things. One being, I'm going to stop playing with my hair because for those of you that don't know, I actually filmed this. So if you want the visual, if you want the visual experience, watch it on YouTube at Casey Loy, or you can go, excuse me, let's put that phone right on silent and turn off. Why is the torch on? We're having a moment today. We're having a day today. It'll be in a link somewhere. Okay, let's continue. No, I can't talk today. We are having a big ADHD moment today. I am self-diagnosed ADHD and there are a lot of reasons why. And I've had 1, 2, 3 people tell me, 2 with ADHD, tell me that they think I have it. And I think I have it too. Anyway, so for those of you that don't know me, I'm Casey. I'm 30 years old from Australia and I'm here to talk about all things relationships, social settings, weird things, spirituality, crazy shit. Just all the things that go on in my mind that I want to share with you. And a lot of it's actually quite relatable. I did get a bit of feedback from people that's seen episode 1. I also have mum hair. So I used to be like platinum blonde and then I just had a massive chop and color change. And now I look like a 30-year-old mum. All I need now is a Toyota Tarago. Today's podcast is brought to you by tampons. No, I'm kidding. I don't have any sponsors, but if you would love to sponsor me, reach out and I'll see if you're worthy enough, okay? Now, I would never want to be a sellout and have any fucking brand come for me and be like, hello, here is golf clubs. Would you like it? I'll be like, no, give me something with more depth. Thank you. I'm going to explain a little bit more about myself because one of my friends said, like, look, we know you, but for those that don't know you and are listening to your podcast, would probably like to know a little bit more. I have dabbled in acting, voice acting, dancing. I've traveled to a few countries in Europe. I enjoy life coaching, dirt bike riding, PC gaming, PlayStation gaming, Xbox gaming, cooking, dancing. I am an introvert and extrovert. I am a part-time Karen and can be very good at it at times in the most professional and kind, ethical of ways. I really love photography and videography and editing as well. I'm such a nerd and such a sensitive, gentle soul as well, but I could fuck a bitch up if I really needed to. And I always thought I was a follower in life, but I'm actually a leader. Yeah. I was a bit of a brat when I was younger, but we've worked through some things since then. I also dabbled in a little bit of nutrition. I also trained a little bit for the WBFF bikini competition, but never got there because I gave up. And usually when I get close to success or anything that gives me or shows me my worth, I give up because I'm scared of the pedestal, and that's a trauma response that I'm working through. I mostly grew up in the bush. I call myself a bush pig. I don't see that as self-deprecating at all. I'm quite proud of it, actually. I enjoy being a bit of a bush hippie. I was going to do this segment with a guest on my show, but they're not here right now. And I'm going to manifest someone to be here, hopefully on my next episode, to get their perspective on what they deem is cheating and acceptable in regards to, do you think it's cheating if your partner watches porn while they're with you? And I don't mean while they're with you in the room, it's actually just with you in general in a strictly monogamous relationship. In my eyes, my personal experience and feelings, I find it to be cheating. I just want to explain my side and why. I did have a couple of responses on Instagram when I asked, do you think it's cheating if your partner watches porn while they're in a relationship with you? A lot of people said no, and which was crazy because it made me sit there and question my own beliefs. Like, If you're going to believe something strongly against the norm, against the grain, against the majority's opinions, made me question, okay, why am I the opposite? And I looked into it further, and I really wanted to explain that more here with you guys. So my beliefs, my views, my thoughts, right? My personal experience. But I think it's cheating. Reason number one is if you're mentally and physically committed to someone and you are attracted to them and you love them and in all ways rooting for them, you know, the moment that you be unfaithful physically, clearly that's cheating, quote unquote. But if you mentally do it by looking at porn or a photo of someone that you both know that the partner's never been with, you're mentally tapping out. To me, that's like you are getting off on someone else that isn't your partner. How is that not cheating? I don't know. And some people are okay with that. They don't see that as cheating and they are okay with that. They're like, look, if they're not touching them or if they're never going to meet the person, if it's a celebrity or a porn star or someone on Instagram or a model, if they're never going to meet them, touch them, see them, or have known them or can even contact them, blah, 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 every excuse under the fucking sun. Believe what you want, sister or brother. You're mentally tapping out when you're getting off on someone else, regardless that you'll never meet them or see them, blah, blah, blah. Sexually, that energy is going towards other. I find that in my next relationship in life, I'm going to bring a lot of these things to the table. First and foremost, my wants, my don't wants, what I value, what boundaries I have, what I'll stand for, what I won't. And obviously the confronting thing is being in that position, I have to be responsible for my own shit too, and things that I haven't healed, and where I'm not perfect. No one's perfect, and I'd never want to build a bear, build a Ken doll, create this fucking person and a checklist and tick boxes. But there are definitely a few key things that I would bring to a new relationship where I would be like, look, if you need to get off or do something to ease your tension, do it through content that I have given specifically and intimately to you and no one else. No porn, no Insta models, no nothing, no fucking neighbor down the road found her Facebook somewhere and like, no, not happening. Should they fuck up, I would appreciate like the honesty. The honesty is like the biggest thing. The fuck up will hurt and can hurt. But if they can come forward and be like, look, you know, I fucked up. I got off to Joe Blow down the street. Sorry, babe. And it's not even a fuck up. That's such a negative way of discussing this. However, it's definitely something I personally deem as cheating. And it's such a crazy, controversial conversation. I have some screenshots of when I asked my Instagram followers if they thought it was cheating. And I'm going to read some of these out for you because I feel like it'll give you guys more of an idea of what other people's opinions and perspectives were, rather than you just sitting here listening to mine the whole time being like, I totally disagree because XYZ. Okay, so I asked my Instagram followers a few weeks back if they thought it was cheating if their partner watched porn without them. One straight answer was no. Another person said no. Got two no's. The next person said never, as long as she tells me she does it. It can help keep her in the mood for me. See, like, I totally get that. That can wind some people up sometimes, and more power to you. And for me, I don't know if anyone out there can relate, but I would be more in the mood looking at my partner for sure. I could happily never watch porn again. There are other things that get me in the mood, and it doesn't involve anything sexual whatsoever. My love language it's called acts of service and a lot of other deep mental shit, but that's a topic for another day. Someone else said absolutely not. Wouldn't find it as to be cheating. Nope, I watch porn all the time, and that's from a female. Someone else just said no, and another no way, and then another person said cheating, no, annoying, yes. And then someone said no, does your man get the needs from the partner? So I'm assuming that would be like if the partner didn't get their needs met from, the other person, would they have to go searching elsewhere? See, and I'm not a guy, and it would be really interesting to have a guy on this show to be like, yeah, that male urge, that male, that life force, that energy force, they've got to expel, because in one way it's an energetic thing, but I also think scientifically there is a lot of sperm buildup that needs to come out. I don't remember the number, but overnight there's a lot of fucking sperm being regenerated. There are men that I have heard and have known that have gone completely celibate. Is it a chemical, not imbalance, but is it like a chemical thing? Is it a habit thing? Is it an addiction? Does it have a lot to do with discipline and what gets them aroused? There is so much there. So there might have to be a part 2 to this, because I would love to hear live someone explaining their opinions. Someone else said, nope, porn's not cheating unless it's excessive. So it's not cheating unless it's excessive. That's an interesting one. So for it to be excessive and needing it, they would deem that cheating. But if it's a one-off and a random get-off, it's not cheating. It's such a grey area, and I love being a black and white kind of person. I hate grey areas in life because uncertainty and just not knowing scares the fuck out of me. So answers like that, it's amazing how podcasts, you can learn so much about yourself, because it's like you're meditating. You're having that time to yourself. You're having conversations with yourself. You're just sitting with it. Whereas this, I'm not only talking, but there is a lot of subconscious activity going on in the background. Really interesting crap. You guys should try this sometime. We've got someone else that said no, only if I'm not available for sexy activities is watching porn okay. Wow. So someone will allow their partner to watch porn if they're not around. And I get that maybe porn for some people can be a totally disconnected thing. It's just a release. There are no ties to it. There is no connection to the person they're watching. It is purely just in that moment, see you later, on my way, and back to life. Yeah, I think cool, that's good and great if that works for you. I still think in that moment, whether it's a release and it's a quick, how you going, why couldn't you do it to your partner, to me? The next one's another no. We've got only if I'm not available. The next one is nope, especially if it's with me. Who am I to judge when I watch porn too? Okay, so this person's saying if their partner watch porn and it's with them at the same time watching it, who are they to judge? Because they watch porn too. So they're accepting of it. So maybe if I watched porn, would I still deem it cheating? That's a question. So that is all for the porn, and I feel like I've said porn so much. So moving on from that, I was actually in a situation last night where it made me think about primary school and all the other kids that I grew up beside and the experiences that came along with that. And I remember so much of primary school being and feeling alone or bullied, mostly because of, I remember, and this is through my childlike eyes and perspective, my weight. I think a lot of other kids just being actually skinnier than I was in my school, and it was a very Caucasian school. We did have a few Asian, maybe Indian, and It was mostly Caucasian. Now, I didn't really suffer racism at all. It was more so bullying, just the ways that I was different in terms of like the food I ate and my curly hair and my weight, and being from a European background. It was really hard, and it took its toll, and a lot of the bullying came from boys. And I say boys because they were just little boys. The girls more so made me feel left out and different, alone. We had a grade 5 buddy when we were in prep, and I remember mine would run away from me, and that was so freaking hard. And I remember just being alone so much. The boys just bullying, being mean, and being picked last in sport was shit. I remember that. It was traumatizing. Looking at people that I used to know at school on Facebook, looking at the guys in particular and being like, fuck, what woman fell for you? You've either fucking changed or she's a dumb bitch. I'm sorry, but like, who would fall for you? You were an asshole. So if you're one of them, fuck you for breaking my childhood. No, but in saying that, I get that they were younger back then and they had their own conditioning and their own boy shit going on and projecting and whatever the fuck not. But I just remember thinking and feeling like, wow, like, to add to my daddy issues, I've got boys in primary school just shitting all over me. You know, that really fucking sucked. Skipping primary school, high school wasn't too bad. The moments that really affected me were more between the ages of like 5 to 9, I'd say, for sure. And I just thought about that the other day, and I wanted to bring that up because some of you might find it relatable, and that's a lot of what my podcast is about, is just bringing shit up that can be relatable to people, and talk about the conversations that not a lot of people feel comfortable talking about, whether it be sex or trauma and shit like that. So just a disclaimer, like, these podcasts will bring up a lot of these kind of things, and you're not alone. It just made me think, fuck, like how so much of our younger years really can be like imprinting on how we are as an adult. With that though, you do have the responsibility and the choices to change how you are and who you are, being an adult and being aware and creating that space of just knowing, okay, that did happen. What can I do about it now? How can I improve? I can't erase what happened, but how can I change my reactions and my feelings towards what happened then, and why I felt that certain way, and how does it play out in my life now? So much deep shit. It just blew my mind. It accumulated in my head all the guys that I stalked over the past few years that were from my primary school, and I was like, who fell for you? So that's all I have time for today. However, we are going to move on to Weird World. Do you ever just have these experiences where you'll meet someone new and you don't know the dynamics of where the conversation's going to go or how it is, but you learn that they just talk and talk and talk, and it's usually about themselves or the same thing over and over and over again. It could be about their animal or their child, or I don't know, the blade of grass that cut their ankle. And no matter what social cues or body language you put forward, they don't get it. I either had to communicate that I'm done with the conversation, or I had to bloody walk away. I'm walking away. Oh my god, that's so fitting for an anxious avoidant. Anyway, interesting how the extremes of like having a really good conversation with someone and it's back and forth. One listens and one talks, and then they swap, and then one brings new ideas to the conversation, and it's just fucking flowing effortlessly. And then you meet people like that are just rambling, repeating, complaining. So I think, how do these people function? Moving on. So, you know what I find really weird? Who the fuck thought of inventing jam donuts? Those things, those bastards are really toxic. Talk about destruction. I don't know how else to explain a jam donut. That jam is so hot. I'm getting tears right now thinking about the pain of how many times a fucking jam donut has burnt my lip, my tongue, my uvula, my chin. The amount of times it's dripped onto my fucking chest, on my thigh, on my lap. And you think every time you eat a jam donut that you've gotten a little wiser from the last time that you had one. You're like, yeah, I'm going to beat this hot jam. I'm going to fuck this jam right up. You think you can burn me? And you try and eat it really swiftly and like you've got this whole pre-game plan about the jam donut. No. Like if it hasn't been sitting there cooling down or the next day and you've had them in the fridge, whatever. But I mean a fresh fucking jam donut, there'll be a portion of it that'll probably burn you. Cruel. It's really rude. So I'm still trying to find the knack of how to beat the jam donut saga. And the last topic for the Weird World segment of the podcast is when you are at work and you're doing your thing and the boss comes in or your manager comes in and you just become this other person. The hands lay neatly in front of my legs or behind my back, and I'm standing up straight and I'm nodding and the body language is open and the eye contact and the smiles and, the professional voice comes out and just the drive and taking initiative and, I'm a go-getter and I'm I just love my job. We got any more hours for me? I'll bend over backwards. I'm a great employee. That's lovely. Yeah. It fucks with me because you kind of just simmer back down. It's like and you just kind of plateau back to where you were and you do your job again. It's just interesting and weird how certain types of situations can force you into different modes. Now, that is a whole other topic of why some of us are chameleons and actors. Yeah, we'll leave that for another time. So I'm going to wrap it up now. So if you enjoyed my content and want to see more of me, feel free to follow me at caseyloy.com, and my podcast is also at lolitamindful.com. If you want to watch my podcast visually, it is on YouTube. So if you really enjoyed this podcast, please share it around. You never know who could find this relatable or will enjoy it, get a giggle out of it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Mwah. I'll see you on the next episode, which is in about probably 2 weeks. What the fuck was that? For those of you that are listening, I just shook my head and my hands. I'm gonna go now. I'm tapping out. Casey tapping out. Bye guys.